Hello! Welcome to my attempt at making food from Frieren. We will of course start with Frieren's Markur pudding, which looks very much like Bavarian cream. To start off, we will leave our gelatin to soak in a tablespoon of water or milk. Then, we take 2 egg yolks in a bowl and mix it with sugar. For this recipe I used 55 grams of sugar, which was a nice and mild sweet, which I like, so add more if you feel like it. Keep mixing until the sugar dissolves just a bit. Now put the milk along with the vanilla extract. Just make sure you don't boil it to over 82 degrees. Stir while mixing the egg yolks and don't stop, because you will end up with scrambled egg pudding and you do not want that. Here I did a small mistake, so don't do the same like me. I heat up the mixture again, as you should. But I forgot to add the gelatin. I added it anyways, but I did it after, so the gelatin got added, which is the most important step. Drain the custard in a bowl in an ice bath. This should cool off the mixture so it actually mixes well when we are going to add this heavy cream later. Which is a great segue, not to any sponsor, but to my next mistake. Hence the word attempt in my title, because like the Heroes Party, I am bringing you on a Frieren food journey. So it's important I'm adding my lessons and my thoughts here, so that hopefully you watching this can do better than me. And maybe after joining this ridiculous adventure, you might want to do your own attempt. As I was whipping the heavy cream, I normally just wing it, but no. No. Heavy cream science does not work like that. If you, like me, haven't gotten into these different cream peaks, there is something that can happen if you don't. So, I made it again, and it worked as it should have when I made soft peaks, since the structure is not as stubborn as the stiff peaks, and it can actually incorporate into the rest of the mixture, so I recommend you doing that. Oil your molds and cover them and put in the fridge to set the pudding, which should at least take 4 hours in the fridge, or just do like overnight. Here I started off to cut the lemon, careful, take out the seeds for a cleaner squeeze later. You can use whatever preferred berries you'd like. Raspberries, strawberries, frozen or fresh, whatever berries you'd like. I feel like I need to flex online a bit, because with my berry choices here, as you can see, they're very bougie. I got these as leftover food from work, so yeah, pretty nice. And honestly, we do have the short shelf life of these berries to thank that got my ass in gear to start making this video. So, as you can see, this gold mine of berries consists of raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries, but you can use whatever. Bring the berries to a boil, and if the berries won't burst, just mush them. I do realize I don't have a clip or add sugar, so maybe I didn't add any, which is also a flex, honestly. But that's why it's important to just taste as you go when you make this at home, since you might have very sour berries, especially if they're not in season or from the frozen section, or it can be both. So when adding sugar, always taste to your liking, tablespoon by tablespoon, and see if it's sweet enough for you or like you. Just add a bit of lemon juice close to the end so it doesn't become bitter. So my tip for the assembly, smacking the glass is not the way to make the pudding loose. Just use a spatula, preferably a cute and small one, to minimize this pudding abuse. I mean, look at that homogenized pudding. Much better. Amazing. Now put a gentle scoop of berry sauce, and I have to say, presentational, I think I put too much sauce on the plate, but honestly in hindsight it was the perfect scoop for the whole pudding to sauce ratio. This sauce color is gorgeous. As for the anime accurate toppings, I used 2 cherries, 3 almonds, and 2 blueberries. I initially thought of using red currants, but I couldn't find them anywhere, so I just opted for some dried barberries.
Frieren 様はどれにしますか？そうだね。今日の気分はメルクーアプリンですよね。Much more creamier when the heavy cream is actually inside the pudding. Simple, berry. I understand why Frieren likes this for a million years. You can never get tired of a dessert like this. So, what do you think about my Merkur pudding? After Frieren's epic pudding, it's definitely time to make Fern's beautiful birthday pancakes. At the time of filming, I got inspired by the Asian American Golden Diner recipe that went a little viral, and this recipe was made by Chef Sam Yu, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to try it out. So another special quality of this pancake recipe is the fluffiness, and to achieve that we start off by making something called a pre-ferment mix. And for this mix, we mix in half the flour in the recipe, dry yeast, some water, and buttermilk. After mixing this, let it rest. Meanwhile, let's make some toppings. Here I made some simple whipped cream. Add some powdered sugar to taste. And since this is for garnish, it's important that it's the stiff peaks. And I put it in some ancient piping bags that I have had for I don't know how long. However, if you do care a lot about the cream aesthetics, I recommend getting some good quality piping tips and reusable bags. Which ones, however, I will let the bakers online help you with that one. I'm just saying, plastic bags like this works, but it takes you to the bare minimum looks. For this next garnish, this is not really something you have to do to recreate this dish. I just wanted to make the normal looking butter knob in the reference picture a little extra yummy. So I added Chef Yu's butter level up, which I winged by mixing some soft butter, a fancy honey swirl, and a glug of maple syrup, and some crunchy flaky salt, and then I put it in the freezer to set. Next! And the most anticipated component in the Golden Diner pancakes are the honey maple soy sauce syrup. Melt your butter, combine honey, maple syrup, salt, and flavor booster, which is 2 small teaspoons of soy sauce. Now, for the accurate birthday pancake look, I used 1 whole strawberry and cut the other 6 in half so you could get 12 pieces. But if you do have the budget and you want to be a little more extra, just use 12 whole ones. Just need some strawberries to hug the sides of the pancakes, you know. And then there is 2 blackberries, 7 mint leaves, and for some reason 1 green grape. Now, for the second part of the pancake batter. Crack 2 eggs, one-handed of course, and whisk with some oil till emulsified. Combine the rest of the flour with salt, baking soda, and sugar. And for some reason, again, I don't have a clip of me putting sugar. Just trust me for this one, because pancakes need sugar. Duh. Do as I say, not what I tell. No, do as I say, not what I show, which is nothing, so just do what I say. Look, it's alive! Now add the wet and the dry and your batter is ready. Now you know what's coming? My next lesson. for you, based on my mistake. Here I did put the pan on the low temp, but maybe not low enough. For some reason I decided not to grease the pan, so I recommend brushing a small coat of just neutral oil if you want that even, perfect, clean pancake look. I didn't manage to do, and I did in fact struggle with getting the sticky icky batter in the pan. Or maybe I should say ui gui, you decide. So, since the pan was a bit hot, the crust got a bit uneven, so just keep that in mind. When you got that pancake crust going on, to your greatest ability, just transfer your yeasty babies to a baking tray and broil the uncooked side till it is cooked through. Just check with the knife or something, I don't know. You probably know when unfinished batter is cooked. For the epic assembly, put your thick cakes and stack them. Line up your fruits. And glaze over the dry looking pancakes in the syrup. Pipe 4 cream blobs. And boom, big strawberry. Boom, butter chunk.
そういえば今日は私の誕生日でしたね。あなたが私を知ろうとしてくれたことがたまらなく嬉しいのです。知ろうとしただけなのに。
Oh, that's good. That's dense. That's good. Ooh.
What do you think of my attempt of Fern's birthday pancakes? It's time for the Jumbo Berry Special. You can choose whatever berries you like. We give love to all berries here. Just make sure they're red for that jumbo berry color. Here I just opted for a bag of frozen raspberries, since the gold mine from before was no more. Mush your berries up real good. And I should probably add, I am making a no ice cream machine ice cream. just so I can share the possibilities that anyone can make a Jumbo Berry special at home. Open a can of condensed milk and try to do it as unproblematic as possible, because it was really quite something. Just buy one with a metal tag opener for your own sake. And back to the whippity-whoop of whipped cream journey, here we go again. So, depending on the peak, it will decide the outcome of the creaminess of your ice cream. So, if you made some soft peaks here, your ice cream would be much more soft and creamy, so just feel free to try it. And because I was already blinded by anger here, I just went for it with the heavy cream. Took it all the way out there. But making this mixture ended up in my favor, because it turned out to be very scoopable and I could mold it a bit as well. It didn't melt that fast, so all I have to say, your cream, your choices. My ice cream did end up a really mild sweet, so do put more sugar if you need that sweetness. I had really sour raspberries, and I was hoping for that the sweetened condensed milk would balance it out, and I have to say, I honestly really enjoyed the outcome. I don't really have that big of a sweet tooth. So as you have seen, this recipe requires just a few ingredients. Just 1 can of condensed milk with cream of your peak choice and the strained outcome of your mushed berries. Defining the recipe as simple, to be honest, depends on the patience you have that day. Which I clearly did not have. I was done and I couldn't care less about this gentle folding, so after the berry strainer grind, the only choice was the electric whisk. So, yeah. The commitment to the heart mold was a bold choice, one of many I have done for this Jumbo Berry special. So proud. Nothing got spilled there. And because also my hard determination to not find another container, and my baking paper sealed the deal. After all that, I put my heart to rest overnight in the freezer. Now wash your strawberries and save as many strawberries as garnish for each portion that you're gonna make, and the rest is gonna be the sauce. Cut your strawberries in half. Now give me an applause here, please. Put some sugar in here. I didn't want to double layer sour berries on top of another sour berry. Threw them in celebration and let them thaw out overnight in the fridge. Gently keep your garnish pieces dry so they don't get bruised before showtime. The actual sauce needs some liquid, so this is a completely off-the-cuff move I did. I just put a little splash of whatever leftover grape-flavored soft drink I had. So honestly, I just chucked it in there, but it just used a splash of water, or 3, which I also did. Just enough so the mush becomes liquid and not just chunky. More sugar, more to the bud's liking, and a itty bitty salt crunch. Lemon zest, preferably fresher and smaller than this, but I had to rely on my rehydrated ones here. Boil it till the mix is reduced and its desired sauce thickness. Cool and boom! Sauce is ready. Now, it's time to show off your best quality family glassware. Hand-me-downs you got. Put your Jumbo Berry special ice cream in. Rim the side with a bunch of fresh raspberries. Drip Jumbo Berry sauce on top. Crisscross 2 vanilla wafers and try not to make the mountain fall. Some blueberries. And of course the berry on the top. A little more sauce. And voila! What do you think of my Jumbo Berry special?
懐かしいな。ジャンボベリースペシャル。前来た時はガキだったから全部食えなくて師匠と分けたんだよな。でもこんな小さかったっけか。